ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नमस्कारं मास्टर। नमस्कारं मास्टर MN। नमस्कारं मास्टर CVV। नमस्कारं मास्टर CVV। Namaskaram Master CVV to your lotus feet. भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। हरिः ॐ। शं नो मित्रस्य वरुणः शं नो भवत्पर्यमा शं न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु यद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। before we enter into the topic of the day, I make an appeal to all the hearts who are present here about one thing, about what we 4,000 families in India do every day, morning and evening. After our daily prayer, we all utter the words which we uttered just now. They run like this. This is an age-old utterance taken from the Vedic texts, which is called the invocation of humanity in the Vedas. It means that all the beings of all planes contribute to the happiness of all. In whichever language we do, it is the same, because this is a mantram where the import and the significance is important. Anyone can form a network with the people of the other countries by cooperating in sending this thought into the humanity every day at the end of his own prayer or her own prayer. And now let us enter into the topic of the day. The basics of spiritual life and its hindrances. That's the topic of the day. It is a vast topic, as vast as ocean, and a topic which every one of us know to some extent, but no one of us knows in its completion. So there is no objection if we talk of it for any length of time. We can talk something good of it in any way, but having given such an opportunity, today I would like to proceed in as definite and practical terms as possible and put forth before you what the ancient scientists of spiritualism have put forth. In dealing with such subjects, it is very sweet to talk of some philosophy, but it is very useful if we talk something of the practical steps of spiritualism. The difference between philosophy and spiritualism is that in philosophy we have many depths and heights into which we can soar, and there are many things which we can discuss at length. But as far as real spiritualism is concerned, we have very little to talk and much to do. If at all we have any literature about real spiritualism, it is only in the form of instructions, not discourses. That's why Patanjali warns us in his first aphorism, the practical spiritualism, which he calls yoga, contains instructions and not discourses. That is, to instruct us as to what to do and what not to do. And there is no much space to discuss what happens if we do something. He says in Sanskrit, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, that is his first aphorism. Atha means now. Now the instructions for yoga will be given. That is how he starts his discourse. Instructions means less to speak and more to do. That's the difficulty with spiritualism, and that's the difference between philosophy and spiritualism. Now let us try to understand in brief what the word spiritualism means. We have the basic word called spirit, from which we have many derivatives. One is spiritualism, that which deals with the spirit of man, and there is what is called spiritism, which I think nowadays is used in the same meaning by some people, but generally it is used to mean the process of communicating with the departed souls. That is called communication with the dead. It's called spiritism, that is talking to the spirit. The word spirit as sacred as it is non-sacred when it is uttered in plural. So, Spiritism is communication with spirits, not spirit. And there is a third and a more sweet derivative, that is spirituousness. Yes, one can be spiritual, or one can be a spiritist, or one can be spirituous according to his or her own taste. Here, spiritualism indicates the process of making an approach to the spirit of the human being. Immediately it indicates that every one of us has a spirit in him. Let us try to understand the human being in terms of spiritualism. We have a spirit. Some people think like that. We have a soul. We have a mind. We have the five senses. We have the physical body. You can say we have, or I have. You can say I have a mind. You can say I have the five senses. You can say I have a body. But you are thoroughly wrong if you say I have a soul. You can use the word soul and then you can say I have a soul. It will be under your shoes. But here this soul, you cannot have it because you are that. You can say only I am a soul. You can say I have a mind, but you should say I am a soul. Then what about spirit? You should say I am a spirit. You can't say. You can be correct if you say that he is not a but the spirit. That is what you can speak of the spirit in you. My dear brother, remember that it doesn't belong to you, just as the space in this hall doesn't belong to this hall, because this space was there before the hall was built, and the hall was built in this space. The space was not built in this hall. No doubt we are permitted to use this space in the hall, but remember that this space never belongs to anyone. We have the habit of selling and purchasing space. We say we sell houses, we sell place. We can do it because we are human beings and we are to some extent fools. It's only one fellow paying another, but space never pays to anyone. So we can conduct trade in the name of space with each other. If you try to carefully understand, you can never say that this space belongs to you. You cannot also say that this space belongs to this hall. Similarly, the spirit in you never belongs to you because you belong to it. You are a house built in spirit, and therefore spirit is there in you. Like that you have to understand first of all. Imagine that there is some space in you, just as there is space in this room. To whom this space belongs? So in the scriptures it is described as the holy abode of the Lord. It is said, somewhere in your heart you have to search for the space which was there before your birth, and the space which will be after your death, and which is luckily in your heart. That is how the spirit is described. And to know something of the spirit is called the science of spiritualism. And to know something of the spirit, you have to become the spirit. Without becoming a spirit, you can never know about the spirit. That is the first principle described about spirit in spiritualism. In Sanskrit it is said, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. That means one who wants to know the spirit should become the spirit. Just as a little iron piece which wants to know what a magnet is should become a magnet. Without becoming a magnet, it cannot have the magnetic touch of the magnet. If you touch a magnet with a piece of aluminum and with another piece of iron, the difference is spiritualism and non-spiritualism. If you are a magnetic substance to the magnet called spirit, then you are called a spiritualist, because the magnet gives its touch someday and you will be also a magnet. And finally, you will understand that You are not a second magnet to the previously arranged magnet. If one magnet is attached to another in a proper way, they work only as one magnet and not two magnets. So, a fellow who has become a spiritualist is not a spirit, but he is the spirit. He may be having a plurality with his body and mind from the spirit inside, but he is only a singular number with the spirit that exists in every heart. Just like this space in all the rooms of this university building is only space and not spaces. Though many rooms are built, the many rooms are constructed in only space and not spaces. This is the way in which you have to make an approach to spiritualism. So, it proves that you have to prepare yourself as a good magnetic substance through your behavior. How to do it? Let us try to know. It also proves that you should have a magnet already magnetized before you are to be magnetized. The magnet which you require, which can be called the senior magnet, is what is called in spiritualism guru or the master. So, you need the master if you want to become a spiritualist. Don't think you need the help of a master. It's not the help you want, but it's the presence you want. Help is required for other purposes, not for spiritualism, because a fellow who expects help from others can never be a spiritualist. The first requisite of a spiritualist is that the fellow should be a king of his own kingdom, at the same time not having the pride of a king. What do you mean by it? You should be trained in such a way that you should do what is expected of you, and you should also concern yourself in doing what is expected of you, whereas you have no business to expect anything from anyone. If you expect any help from anyone, wait for some time before you are a proper student of spirituality. You have to go on doing what you have to do on all planes, physical and mental. You can ask how to live on this earth without expecting anything from others. You have to realize a truth that things come to you if you do not expect anything. The one who knows this truth and the one who is really confident of this truth can be a real student of spiritualism. Things come to you according to the need, not according to desire. That's the whole trouble. Even to the poor fellow who desires very much all day long, his desires will never come true. He has to live in a thirst of his own desires and die, as Lord Buddha said. Many are the disappointments that the human fellows are meeting. Why? It's not that what they want is not attained, but it is a basic truth that they are wanting what they should not attain. The difference should be understood. If we desire what is not due to us, it never comes to us. And what is due to us comes to us irrespective of anything. The scripture says that those who desire what is due to them, they get their desires. Those who do not desire what is due to them, they too get what is due to them. But in the first case, the person approaches the desire like a dog, whereas in the second case, the desires approach the person like dogs. That is what the scripture says. And a fable, a small little story is also given there. Two people are walking across the fields in the night. It was too dark and there were clouds. There was thunder, lightning and rain, and there were thunderbolts, and then there were serpents and scorpions. You must know the fable comes from a tropical country like India, where the forest and the field is full of serpents and scorpions. So the two fellows are walking, and one fellow was weeping. What for? The other fellow asked. He said, "It is dark, I want light, and it is night, I want the day, I want the sun, I want the dawn." The other fellow smiled, and there was dawn. Then the second fellow said, "You have light and I have light, but you have weeping in addition. You have dawn and I have dawn, but you have the additional qualification of a person who wept." That is how the story goes. Dawn will be there to both of the fellows, but a person who weeps will be a weeper, and a person who smiles will always smile. And this story is narrated about the practitioner of spiritualism. So these are the basic qualifications of a would-be spiritualist. The qualification is what is called self-satisfaction. Remember, if you mind your own business, things come to you. If you mind others' business, you have to run after persons and things. If you find the spirit in others, you will worship the one spirit in the form of many people. But if you run after what you want, you have to run after the same fellows, asking them as a beggar, and those people playing many things, worldly mischief against you. It is for you if you want to see people or the spirit. A spiritualist sees spirit in the same people in whom we see different persons of different mentalities. Where we see the society and the competition of the world, the spiritualist sees the spirit in whom everyone moves. This is the fundamental approach to spiritualism. And as long as we are not convinced of this